G'day and welcome to Deno MAW. Today we are taking a look at the Demo 3 for Titanic Honor and Glory, being made by Four Funnels Entertainment if I remember correctly, and it is basically intended to be a sort of virtual museum piece in you can explore the Titanic, but not only that, they are working on a story mode involving you playing a character having to try and clear his name whilst escaping a sinking ship. Now this game is being made in both for traditional versions as you're seeing here, and it's also being made for virtual reality. Now I do not have a virtual reality headset, so I cannot test that there. Also, as you can see on the bottom left, that this is being published by Vintage Digital Revival, which is part of a group that is trying to preserve history. And then you've got the fact that this game is still in development and you can contribute to it at the website, which is www.titanichg.com. But anyway, let's just go straight into starting the demo, shall we? So here we are in the demo, starting off on a train arriving in Belfast, Ireland, or more specific, the Harland and Wolff shipyard.
Then a short trip to the docks where I boarded the ferry to Dublin, then the long train ride through Ireland to Belfast. Not a bad ride, but excruciatingly long. Check-in at the guest house in the town proper, quick supper, quick sleep, quick breakfast, and a hop on the local train here to the Harland and Wolff shipyard. Fortunately, it was punctual. I was worried about being tardy for being 3 hours early. My darling Claire always said to me, "Robin, you better get out of the house right now and go be useful for someone." She always did lovingly encourage me to show up for work early and give my best effort.
There's the gantries that the ship was built under, and her sister ships, the Olympic and Britannic. I guess I don't want to speak too much over the narrative when there is some, because it is actually really nicely done for a game that is quite early on.
Titanic is likely no different from the Olympic. They're structurally identical. The Olympic underwent these trials months ago, so this should be a simple repeat. I board, observe her during the sea trials, vote aye or nay on her certification, and then I ride her back to Southampton. Come on, Robin, you can't mess this one up, as Claire always told me.
So here we are, stepping off the train, and we are now at the dock. So there is the Titanic right there, and here is the train we arrived on. So yeah, I like that not only are they doing this as a demo and go, oh, here's the ship to walk around with, they're actually building a little narrative. The whole idea of you're playing a character called Robin, who is an inspector for the ship, who has to basically be on her sea trials, see whether she performs as correct, and then tells whether she can be launched, which, you know, given this is a demo for a full game, there has a lot of parallels there as to, you know, the demo giving a trial for if this thing will work or not. So this is our train. This game is made in Unreal Engine 4, so you can kind of tell that in some ways, like how it handles the lighting, but it's not bad. This is the default walking speed.
Let's look at the positive.
Which is
the weather broke,
standard.
And now I've been given the opportunity to board the Titanic advance of the trials. This gives me a bit of time to really admire the beauty of the ship before I have to scrutinize every last aspect of her functionality.
Yeah, he arrives very early in the fact that there's absolutely nobody else here at this time. Also, I love that sign there, beware of trains. Yep, there's one literally right there. No crew in it, apparently. But yeah, this is as fast as you can walk. However, you can run a little faster. I'm holding left trigger because I'm playing this on an Xbox controller just to get the smoother camera. But yes, this is, I believe, the Thompson engraving dock. I'm not certain 100%. And there you have the gantries for where the ship was built in the background. But we're not going to waste too much time on this. Let's get to the ship itself. And it is a gorgeous looking ship. I've always had a fondness for the Titanic. Basically, I'll say it's a personal story rather, but I first saw the Titanic film at a drive-in theatre, and apparently ever since then, according to my parents, I was obsessed with the ship. Now, I still am as well. I don't remember as much stuff about it as I used to, but it is still, I don't know, I've always liked ships and liners, and the Titanic just has these great lines and a fascinating story to go with it. But if we run over here, I love this notice here. This is, the shipyard is dangerous and therefore off limits, and then they've put it for the people who made this game. And I love the warnings as well. So let's just keep going, shall we? Apparently that notice has been put up for today because it's 1st of April 1912. But there's nobody here, so who put that sign up? We'll run down this way. Nice reflections on the coaches. Not sure what they are. I'm not that familiar with the trains of this period.
But I suppose there isn't reason for too much haste. No one else has even arrived yet, it seems. Plenty of time to explore, if I desire.
Alright, so we duck in through here. And we can go have a look at these outhouses. Just get to them, of course. Oop, very dark. And yep, literally just a hole that goes straight into the sea. So you sit here and just poop into the water. That was the time
I'm quite
period.
surprised by the amount of confidence the industry is placing into this ship. She's not even certified yet, and her first ticketed voyage is just a week from now. No room for failure on these trials, I suppose. It's like getting dressed up for a date when you haven't even begun your courtship yet. How do you know if you'll be rejected or not? I learned that one the hard way.
So there we get a little bit of backstory. Apparently Robin has tried in relationships, he's not succeeded. And he has a sister, Claire, I'm guessing it's his sister, who clearly berates him in a way for not being as successful as he could be. I'm not sure why you can get in this little room. I think it's just showing off what they can do. But I love that you got here some old Bushmills Irish whiskey. Because, why not? We'll just keep going through, past these buckets, and go out this way. Now, you can't go everywhere, like there's these invisible walls stopping you from going that way, because, well, it doesn't exist. But I do like the little attention to detail, like all these very
Belfast
long coal
Lock is
wagons.
beautiful. With the hills around it and the morning fog, it reminds me of what I always imagined Puget Sound would be like. A man sure can make a living out in Seattle, if he can hold off the plague.
So yeah, you can live in Seattle, just don't catch the plague, Something that everyone should keep in mind, I suppose. We've got another little outhouse. This one looks a bit more precarious.
Reminds me of my childhood in Sheffield.
Oh, apparently that one just goes straight onto the rocks. And it reminds Robin of his childhood in Sheffield for some reason. But yes, we are getting much closer to the Titanic now, and the gangway that we want to get to. Unfortunately, someone's appeared to have blocked it off for us. We can't just simply walk straight to it, because that would be too
they're
easy.
doing all they can to extend my travel time. How do I find my way through this mess?
So yeah, we got like this little maze thing, so we'll go through this. Oh, and I'd like to point out that this game is, well, for the demo anyway, it's completely free. You can just go on their website and download it, check it out for yourself. It can be a bit performance demanding, but what do you expect really? It's an alpha, very early alpha to the point it's just a demo. But yeah, so we'll go past all these ladders and chairs and everything else. We're getting close to the gangway now. We can go on this way. Now this is a nice gangway, nice big arched bridge. Just the sort of one we want. Lots of trolleys, suitcases and tools. Here we go. We can now go up here. And we are boarding the Titanic. At least, sort of boarding the Titanic, as you will see in just a second if you can't already.
They couldn't simply move these signs out of the way. This vessel has triple screws. Yes, I feel the same way right now too, thank you.
Yeah, he's not happy. This is really just covering up the fact that they haven't fully modelled the ship yet. There's only a small area available. But you can sort of have a look at what they've done on the aft well deck here. And I actually really like the fact that they're using the sea trials to mask it, so the whole idea that the ship isn't finished yet, which is why you can't go everywhere, that's a nice touch. But yes, there you go. Any workman leaving the ship except by proper gangway will be instantly dismissed. Thank you, Pierre, or however you pronounce his name, I can't remember. But nice sounds, and we will walk back down the gangway because we can't go on the ship through this one. I love the attention to detail on the rivets there. You can see the shear, which is the curvature of the ship's hull, following the yellow or gold band. And look at all these coaling wagons and barges. But yes, we can't board there unfortunately, so we will have to go to that forward gangway we can see towards the bow of the ship. So that involves navigating this mess over there. Which, it doesn't take too long to go. Remember, I'm just holding down left trigger this whole time, so you're not having to see me walking at the very slow speed normally. But we'll get here nice and close just to get an idea of the scale of the ship, because this game is really good at giving you an idea of just how big the Titanic was. Because I don't think we've really had a game where you can see it in first person in such detail yet. So it's nice to see that. And yeah, it's big. Unsurprisingly, for a ship that's named after the god Titan, you'd expect it to be pretty big. We'll just keep going through here. We're going to go back and around. Now, I've done this a few times, so that's how I already figured out where I've got to go. Got a few workers' huts and things out here, but this isn't the main point of the demo. The main point of the demo is actually getting on board the ship, which I'll actually provide a link, if possible, to skipping straight on board the ship if you only cared about that. And yeah, I don't know if that'll work, but hopefully it will work. And yes, that is, well, you saw it in the main menu as well. You can do that as well. So we're getting close. We just need to go around this bit. There's the bridge with the forward lifeboats and the
Another
emergency
dead end
cutter.
in life.
Yep, another dead end in life, yep, for sure. But we're getting there. There's another nice gangway. Unfortunately, not the one we will be using. More outhouses. And there's the bow. You got the bridge with the overhanging wing and the name
Just
Titanic
can't beat
on
that
the bow
train
there.
carriage arrangement. It really stretched my cognitive abilities. People simply aren't stimulated enough these days. Claire tells me that every night.
Yep, apparently he gets berated again more for... So yeah, a bit more attention to detail there on the bow. And then looking towards the bridge, you can just about see the bridge windows there. And you got the crow's nest, which people will know for various things that the ship has featured in. But enough dilly-dally, and let's get on board the actual Titanic now, shall we? Through this boarding ramp. Or another gangway, rather. Just gotta weave our way through. And here we are.
Since the aft gangway is blocked, I'll board here through the first class.
Yeah, what a shame. He has to board through first class. Ooh, get a bit of the whistle. Then stoop, mind your head. And there you go, you can see some of the detail of the ship. The wrought iron gates behind these entry doors. All the hull riveting and paneling. Something like 3 million rivets in the real ship, so just a few. But let's get on through. There we go. And unfortunately we have to go for a little loading screen right now. But I suppose it's because they got to load the rest of the ship. So here we are on board the Titanic now, with this nice little bit of music that's playing. Now you see you get these little info boxes you can toggle on and off. I like to leave them up because they give some helpful little information. And as you can see, they allow you the option to have it in black and white. So if I play that, you get this nice little filter. Little bit of grain, but you can see if you want to play the game in black and white, you could. I like it in colour to enjoy the ship in all its actual splendour. So we shall keep going from there. Got a nice push button, I'm not sure what that is. But I don't know much of this section of the Titanic.
Most first-class spaces should be accessible at the moment, but I may be able to venture down to third class for a spell through Scotland Road on E-Deck. I believe I'm boarding before anyone else. Robin, right now you're the most handsome man on the Titanic.
There you go, a little bit of self-confidence. Most handsome person on the ship. And, oh, yeah. I'm not sure you want to have a brand new ship when all the electrics are sparking like that. That doesn't seem a good idea now, does it? Yeah, here you go. So you get these little information telling you about where people board the ship. So this is where first class got on from those tenders. Nice little hallway. You may or may not be familiar with it. You see there's a corridor here we can't go down. It is currently blocked off by some barrels. But we can go through this room here. And now we are in the foyer. As it says here, the first class elevator foyer. The elevators are not, however, on this deck. We are on D deck right now, and they are 2 decks above us. So we'll go around here, shall we? Here you go, you get some information about the reception room that we're in right now. Now, you can basically just tour the ship the whole way and read this little information. It's quite nice like that. So yeah, love this reception room. It just looks so beautiful like that. All the ceiling lighting, the chandeliers. Now, I love these windows as well. I think one of them's open somewhere. You can see what they did, but you can sort of see it there. They're actually just 2 portholes, one above the other, but then they've got a window panel over the top so it looks like a hotel. Love that idea. And I'm sure other ships at the time did it as well, because it is quite effective, isn't it? But we'll keep moving through. We'll go from the reception. Oh, I walked into some stuff there. And we shall go into the first class dining salon.
I especially commend them for modifying the bulkhead. I never cared much for what was on the Olympic.
Yeah, they mentioned about modifying this, because if I remember right, that is something they found whilst making this game that is unique to the Titanic. Like, her sister did not have these windows into this section, which does give a whole more open feel to the ship. So there you go. They could have the meals here as well. And yeah, it was being set for breakfast when the collision happened. But yeah, so this is where you could eat. So the forks, that's my most memorable bit from the film as well, or one of, when it's like, how do you use these? And it's like, start your way from the outside, work to the middle. That just seems to be a good thing. Can't get through that way, but we can walk through the tables a bit. So we shall, why not? All set up nicely. Not sure why they're all set up, but they do look pretty nice the way they have been. Invitation, or menus actually, I imagine that is. This bit's nice and lit up.
I see many of the tables are already set. There will be a fine banquet here for company and partner representatives, myself included, along with the one and only paying passenger joining us on our way to Southampton this evening.
Oh, well, there you go. He actually explained it. That's why they're here. They're going to have a banquet for celebrating the completion of the ship and its sea trials, I suppose. Because if the trials go to plan, none of this should be messed up. We will leave the dining salon now and move to one of the more recognizable sections of the ship, the grand staircase. So we've got this little nice painting here, and you get some information on what the painting actually was, which is a nice touch. Now if we go over here, actually before we go up the staircase, because you can go up and down, we will go up first, but we'll go to this side. Just so you see, we got a piano, a Steinway Model B grand piano, one of 6 on the ship. And then a photo of, I believe, the guy who was actually playing the piano on the ship. I don't know. And yeah, this is what I mean by how they did the lights. That's a nice little attention to detail there, and you can actually see outside it pretty well. So we go round this nice decorated piano, because there is a gramophone over here as well. Sandwich. Okay. Not sure what's on the floor there. Something's on the floor. And a very shiny gramophone and a very waxy apple. Fair enough. We shall keep moving. get through, because you can't go through that side of the dining salon. I'm not sure what that says. Oh, it has the exact same information. I suppose you can if I could speak, you can approach the ship from different directions. So we'll just look through here. What's this one say? Yep, same thing. And there's the reception going the other way. All closed off, very dark. We can't go in that way. Not from that side anyway. If we go through here though, you can. And it's in darkness. That corridor we can't go down as well. There you go. This is where they boarded at Southampton. And yes, for some reason they had these doors, or as it says there, they opened these doors with the intention of loading lifeboats during the sinking, but then never did it. So these doors let water in on this deck, which is, you know, when you have openings in the hull, you don't want to be leaving them open. That's just going to end badly, as things did end badly. So yes, we shall go up now. So we've got this nice chandelier, or candelabra, or however you pronounce it. Go up past this painting, and now we are on C deck. Bit more wooden paneling here. Got this crew purser's office. This ship's safe where passengers can have valuables stored. And yeah, that scared the crap out of me when I first played this. I don't know why, it's just a simple thing, but I didn't expect it. And I was like, oh god. It was weird like that. And yeah, we can't go through there, but you can see that's the way to one of the cabins. Now, yep, we've got the nice elevators here.
The lifts are out of
Again.
order. That's fine. Real men don't take lifts. Lifts are for women, Claire says. Robin, take the long way up.
The lifts are for women. Yeah, what if you're lazy? I mean, I suppose that wasn't as big of a deal at the time. There you go. Smoking in the companionways is forbidden. So we can't go that way. And we can't smoke here. Not that we were going to. But yeah. More going around this section here. Can we go in that one? No, we can't. There are a few you can go in, but I can't remember which ones they are. We'll go down these corridors in a bit. I just want to have a bit of a look around the ship. So there you go. Of course, as a ship sailed across the Atlantic, they crossed multiple time zones. So they had these little notices so people could keep track of what was actually going on. And yes, please consider a contribution, which I would highly recommend because, as you can see, they've done a great job here. There we go, the inquiry office. So basically this is where you had to queue up and get stuff done.
Soon this area will be bustling with passengers anxiously sending telegrams and complaining about the most trivial of matters. I consider it a blessing that I will not be around to witness that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be around that either. That just sounds like a hassle. So actually, instead of going... Actually, shall we go through? Yeah, we'll have a look through some of these first before we go upstairs again. So as you can see here, they actually list out who was in each cabin, which is kind of interesting if you just want to get an idea for some of these figures or who these people were. Because some of these you might recognize in various little stories about the Titanic. We are moving towards the stern at the moment. There you go. People who introduced paper food containers to England. That's quite a thing to bring in. Lots and lots of cabins. But look at the nice detailing on this. So, you know, they're cabins, but they're well decorated cabins. We don't need to go that way. Just keep going aft. And we end up in the aft section. Ooh, bit of a scandal there. Secretly engaged. Well-known dog breeders. Here is the aft grand staircase. Oh, barber shop. Little information about when the barber was open.
I wonder if the barber will be on board for the run to Southampton. Lord knows I should fancy a shave after my journey here. Speaking of barbers, I'm quite glad old Harry is there to look after Claire while I'm away. They always were fond of each other, and when my son was born, Harry was particularly fond of him, never missing a birthday. See, this is the kind of friend a man really needs. His presence seems to even alleviate her hysteria condition.
So Claire is apparently hysterical, but she's helping him out, so that's good. And we're getting told to look up here from this locker, because yes, you can see straight up this staircase, and look at that. I love the detailing on the banisters, and of course the dome. And the cherubs here. We are on the aft bit of sea deck. Can we continue further aft? We can a little bit. Oh, here's a cabin we can go in. So you can see what these cabins were like. You've got the lights here and a door lock. Got a very shiny mirror. Apparently Robin's a vampire because he's not in any of these mirrors. I like the sinks. They're pretty nice. And yeah, so this was what you paid for, quite a fair bit for your passage on the Titanic in these days. Or any liner for that matter. And then there's the bed. Should be comfortable enough, I would be assured. I like these little maps. We'll keep moving aft, because why not? You'll have had enough of seeing cabins by the time we get all the way to the end of this, I am sure. There you go, that goes to the second class promenade, which we can't go to. Cut through here. Restaurant manager named Luigi. Yep, that's an appropriate name for a restaurant manager, if I say so myself. Oop. Ship's surgeon. There we go. Ship's surgery that way. We can't go that way. But it is there. Oh yeah, and because the cabins didn't have separate toilets, they had them in sections of the ship. So, you know, they didn't have personal ones at that time. That came later. Wall Street stockbrokers, directors, more cabins, lots of cabins this way. You really would need to use these signs to find where you were supposed to go. That is pretty much a fact. Post office, and Marconi officer's saloon. That's a nice word. Oh, there you go, your cabin from that game, Titanic Adventure Out of Time. Never actually played that one. I need to get around to finding somewhere I can play it. Oh, there you go, this story. This guy previously survived the sinking of the ship America, spent 40 years recovering from trauma, and Titanic was the first ship that made him feel safe. I wonder if he actually survived, because that's quite a story, you know. The first ship he feels safe to go on is the Titanic, and then look at what happened. It's not very nice. Hey, we can look through here. So we can see lots and lots of linen. Quite stocky linen. Maybe you put too much starch in it, I believe. Yeah, we can just cut through here. None of these are open, are they? No, but you can see there's some valves being concealed under pipework, and we've already been there. So we shall go back through this way and keep moving forward. What's this say? Oh, yeah, more people. I'm looking for ones that have cabins that are open. I can't remember which ones are. Oh, this one's open, I think. No, you can just sort of see it. I'm not sure what that is. K&M? Ken Marshall, maybe? I don't know. Because Ken Marshall's been an advisor on this game. You can sort of see into these a little bit. Macy's department store, made to Miss Strauss. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. But yeah, let's move up another deck, shall we? Let's move up to B deck. Up the staircase. There you go. Now, we can't go through these doors, but you can see there's more cabins going that way, because of course there are. And here are the elevators on B deck. Very nice elevators they are too. You've got the operating system for the actual guy who had to operate the elevator from within, and I love the couch, you know, that's nice. That one's slightly ajar, but we can't go in them. But you can see, they're very nicely done, and I love the way they've done these grills. More cabins going this way, can't go that way. So we shall head this way instead. We can't get out onto the promenade. Here, another boarding entrance. I'm not sure where the entrance is here, because this is a promenade, as you can see. The door was somewhere, I'm sure. The midships cabins. Oh, more electrical areas here. These ones aren't sparking though, so they're much better, clearly.
Cabins upon cabins upon
There's the owner of White Star Line, Bruce Ismay.
Cabins upon cabins.
And yes, as Robin says, there are a lot of cabins on this ship. Ooh, there you go, another secret love affair. There was a lot of conspiracy and romance and things like that going on the ship. I suppose when you have as many people as you did, that will happen. Now, I'm pretty sure there are some more cabins open on this deck, but I can't remember where they are. So it's sort of, we might just walk past one. I am not certain. Ooh, we've not got one here. That box is not quite big enough. Manservants. There we go. Any of these open? No. Because B deck you would have the fancier ones, because they were the more wealthy people on B deck. What have we got here? Oh, secretaries. You wouldn't want to get lost in this area, would you? You'd never find where you were going. Go through these nice doors. Restaurant reception room, there we go. After dinner music. More nice little setup.
Love the wood detailing here. It's absolutely perplexing. Now that's a craft I can really respect. Lovely wood.
That's
I've always been
gorgeous.
fond of wood. When younger, I used to cut wood for the poor folks 2 streets over. My neighbors started calling me Robin Wood. They always laughed, but I don't know why. I wore that title proudly.
Robin Wood. So yeah, we get some more information about him wanting to be a carpenter because he likes wood and woodworking. Yeah, I love that. It just looks great. And you've got the clock. Unfortunately, we can't go up on A deck. We can go only on this little bit. So here you go. The guy who got off the ship. Probably a good move, given how things happened. Here's a very fancy cabin. Love the details again. Big cupboards. Whiskey in here already. Who's leaving their whiskey about? A bunk bed that will fold away to give more room. And another bed there. So, you know, lots of room in this cabin. We'll go through there. And we can't go beyond here, I'm pretty sure. So there's the promenade, yeah. A-deck promenade. The first class smoking room. We can have a look inside the smoking room. We can't go in it.
What a fine accommodation for the unwinding of the gentlemanly sort after a long day at sea. If only it were open now, and there were men in there to socialize with. Perhaps then I'd make some friends.
That looks rather nice, doesn't it? He definitely knew how to make things look luxurious. Love the light coming through the dome. Yep, more of the smoking room, because the women had the writing room, and the men had the smoking room. More view of the promenade that unfortunately we can't go to just yet. But we can go this way and have a look. There you go, Thomas Andrews, the designer of the Titanic's cabin.
I see Tommy Andrews is already on board. Why does this surprise me? His drawings are scattered about like toys in a nursery. Well, I shouldn't intrude here any longer.
But what if you want to have a look at the plans for the Titanic that he's just left scattered around the place? Why not? And apparently he's scrunched some stuff up, so he wasn't happy with those sections. Yes, we shall then move this way, looking out at the deck from where we can see it. Keep moving this way.
I suppose this won't
This
be
will be
open
where the
anytime
lounge
soon.
goes.
A shame. I would enjoy nothing more than a cup of tea and to sit with a book in the lounge and...
And you can't see
well,
through there, yeah.
lounge.
If you got the nice revolving doors that we can't go past right now. Unfortunately. So we'll go back this way. There was nothing the other side, so we shall go back down. Because there is one section you can go to forward, if I remember correctly. So we'll run through here. This will take some time, but we're not dilly-dallying about anymore here. So many cabins. So many cabins. You really get an idea of just how big the ship is when you're walking around it. It's another boarding entrance. You could get to the Palm Court restaurant, but I can't remember where that is. There you go.
I shouldn't venture too far on deck. The Board of Trade members may board soon, and I'm expected to meet them.
Yeah, unfortunately we can't go on this side of A deck. So maybe it was the other side. But yeah, you can see more of the grand staircase here. The lovely look to it, that's for sure. And so we're on A deck here, and then up there is the boat deck. So that is the highest point on the ship. But you can see some of the nice detailing work they've got here. But we shall go back down. And I'm guessing because I was mistaken then, it's not this side. So either I've gone past it or it's on a different deck, but whatever. We shall keep heading down. I'll leave that one to discover for yourself. We shall keep going down back to D deck where we boarded. And we shall keep going down from here. So now we are on E deck. Here we go. There you go, you couldn't go any further down than here on the grand staircase. But look up, it says, from the key locker. And yeah, look at all those decks. That's a nice touch. Keep going through here. Oop, location in this direction. So we can see a bit more detail this way. We're in the less fancy sections of the ship now. Oop. There you go, mail room, first class squash court. This is the lower point for the elevators. More cabins, lots of cabins. There you go, the unsinkable Molly Brown's cabin was right there. Yep, can't go that way. Oop, can't go there. But we can go through here. Well, actually, I think we'll save that way now. Actually, I can't remember where this one puts it. Yeah, this is Scotland Road, so we'll come back to that. We'll go down here first. So here we are, F deck. See, this is the lowest deck the grand staircase goes. Yep, no first class facilities below this deck. This is just where everyone else was. So we can just have a look around what we can see from here. Which is not a huge amount.
I'd hate to be corded back here in such a cramped cubby, the walls bearing down on you like all the troubles, hopes, and deepest desires you dare not dwell upon.
You got some personal thoughts there, Robin? But yeah, this area is a bit less fancy because this is where a lot of the crew are. Here, we'll go into the Turkish baths, why not? You've got some hours there. The ladies and the gentlemen have to be separate. They're not allowed to be there at the same time. And yeah, look at that. That is quite something. Cool off. Yep.
A nice Arabian motif with cooling colors as passengers relax after their time in the baths. But what a poor state these workers left it in.
Bit misted up here. Yeah, you may want to clean that off. Changing stalls. Yep, you may want to do something about that as well. But yeah, that looks great. Whoop. There you go, false portholes. Yeah, there you go. They had the idea where they were originally going to have it further out, but then they moved it But they'd already built the stuff, so they just left it as it was. Weighing machine. There you go, you gotta sweat off some weight, I suppose. I mean, in theory you can do that, right? There's an electric bath.
Is that lucky dog testing out the electric bath? And I believe I see a sliver of the plunge bath as well.
So there's someone in there. They're very stationary, but there's someone in there. Okay, you can see a little bit of the plunge bath, as he calls it, or the swimming pool as we would call it, just there. You see, it's just the days where the swimming pool was in the bowels of the ship, not up on the surface. Anyway, let's go up to Scotland Road. Here we are. There you go, named after the street in Liverpool where many of the crew lived. And it stretches the whole length of the ship pretty much, although we can only visit a little bit of it right now. The steward's lavatory. I can't see much of that, but we can see a little bit. This is all crew areas, so it looks a little different.
This is glorious. You can near well see half the length of the ship in this corridor.
Entry points to boiler rooms, which we can't go down. Not these ones anyway. And as we go down here, we will come back to these stairs. See, this is where you go to the third class. Because remember, the Titanic had 3 classes of travelling, and each one had their own separate areas. You couldn't go mixing between them. So here is the back. We can't go through there. But yeah, this is just all crew spaces. There's a watertight door. They had to be operated, if I remember right, from the deck above. And they were incredibly heavy, but these are the
on down
things
to the
that
food
were supposed
stores,
to
crew
keep
compartments,
the
and
ship
stern of
sealed.
the ship. No need to go this way.
Yeah, he can't go that way apparently, or no need to go there, even though there's a lot of stuff piled in front of the watertight door, so he probably couldn't. But let's go check out the third class dining salon. And I know this video is going to run on a long time. This is why I have put this one off for a while, just because I don't really know how to show this off in any other way. Here you go, first class dining salon. Or third, not first. Yep, primary single men travelling in groups. And there you go, segregated from families, women and children, and quartered in separate parts of the ship. And here we go, bit different to the first class dining salon upstairs. Still pretty nice though. Advertising your own ships, yep. None of the great big watertight door here. You can see that here they didn't bother covering up all the actual ship's structure like they did for the first class people. You can just literally see it here. And the tables are numbered.
A stark contrast from the first class accommodations, I should say, but still a major improvement from the other liners I've inspected. In all honesty, I envy these people in the lower class. The world is open to them. They move to America and build their future how they choose. They could be loggers, for example. But father wanted me to be a surveyor like he and his father. No logging for you, Robin. Now wash your ears.
See, yep, Robin was not allowed to do what he wanted to do. He had to do what his father did. You can see from those railway wagons now where we are from the hull. If you can remember that from earlier when we were walking outside so long ago. But yeah, look at all these rows of tables upon tables upon tables. Because you had a lot more people here. That's for sure. Go third class pantry and galley. We can't go that way. So we shall move this way instead. Oh. Now there is one spot, I can't remember where we can see it. It's actually up the other end of the ship, I believe, so we will have to go back to that. Yep. We shall go up the stairs and work our way back down Scotland Road, which would have been a main passageway for a lot of the ship's crew. Keep moving down, that's where we entered. Here you go, the crew dormitory. Here you go, glory holes due to the terrible conditions on other ships. And there you go, so this is where a lot of the crew would sleep, this sort of places. So this one's the stewards. Lots of bunks, but you know, not bad. I mean, it's different to the cabins above, of course, but still decent when you think of the number of people who would have actually worked on the ship. Boiler room 5 there. And look at this. Boiler room 6. And the door's open.
Oh dear, the door is open. Perhaps I'm not supposed to look in here, but I can't pass up this opportunity for a little adventure. Oh, if Claire were here now to see me being so daring.
Yeah, he's being very reckless now. Let's move down these stairs. We are moving right into the engineering bowels of the ship. These are the uptakes for the boilers to get the smoke out through the giant funnels above.
It's quite hot here. Where are the workers, though? Well, I suppose they're likely firing up the other boiler rooms.
Just implying the fact that there are no other workers yet on the ship. There you go, we're on top of one of the boilers. We are in boiler room 6, so this is the boiler room furthest forward on the Titanic, and the first one to flood. So during the sinking, this one was flooding. Let's go down here, if we can. Nope, he's not going to go down that way. He can go down one of them. It's a bit steamy down here. There we go.
These machines are massive. 29 on board, propelling the ship through the water like an untamed beast. I anxiously await their performance during the sea trial shortly. Finally free and not held back from anything. No Mr. Tundry in sight. Just freedom.
I'm guessing Mr. Tundry is someone like his supervisor that he's not getting along with. You can see the curvature of the hull here. We are really deep down in the ship. And here's where the coal bunkers are, so the coal would be scooped out from there by stokers, trimmed down to size, and then fed into the furnaces. The very hot furnaces that generate the steam. We can't go any further that way, but you get the idea of seeing that's what the engine room looks like. So we shall go back up. He climbs ladders very quick, Robin. You can see why he's called Robin Wood, you know. He can really do this. Just don't bash your head as we go back on up. Zooming up the ladders, and let's just keep going up, because why not? Getting a bit more cramped as we go up this way.
How by Edward did I get myself here?
Nope, can't go up that
Climbing
one.
too high, I think. No, Robin, it's
There's
not
the
your
funnel.
time to get your angel wings just yet. No, not just yet.
No, we can't. But there's a doorway that we can't go out, but we can go back down. Very long ladders. Whoop, don't drop off. Whoop. And here we go. So we're out of boiler room 6 now. And we shall move a little further aft. And here we are.
This open space looks like a fine spot for gathering and mingling between all parts of Europe as they make their journey across the pond to the New World. Perhaps a place on the west coast, like Seattle.
So I think we can tell that Robin wants to be a woodcutter or something in Seattle then, instead of being a surveyor of ships. But here we go, so this is the little third class section. You can see a little bit up there, although we can't actually go up that way, or anywhere else for that matter, but we can see a little bit more of where bits of the ship are. And yes, that is it for the ship's interior now. And I shall move on this way, but that is the end of the video, because it's way too long as it is. I hope you've at least enjoyed this long rambling venture as we navigate through the bowels of a ship after approaching it in the first place. And I will leave you with the vista of the first class staircase, or the grand staircase again, from as high as we can possibly go. So there we go, the beautiful dome with its lovely lighting and the gorgeous woodwork. And yes, until next time, I'm Denodon, this is Titanic Honor and Glory. Please go contribute for it, because it definitely is worth the money. If you have any interest at all in exploring the Titanic, even ignoring the rest of the game. I can't imagine exploring the ship though in virtual reality during the sinking. That would be all levels of terrifying, I am sure. But yes, until next time, I'm Denodon, this is Titanic Honor and Glory, safe sailing.